What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Mr. Straight Facts Show. I am Mr. Straight Facts. So let's get right into it. Today, well, recently, but they started speaking of it today. I think it happened a few days ago. But they released, the DOJ released Mayor Raz Baraka, the charges, that is. They were dropped today. They had already arrested him. He had gotten home and things of that nature. But they came out and said that there was really no reason to charge him. But here's the crazy thing. They tried to get him to admit to doing some wrongdoing. They was going to give him a deal. And he basically said, no deal. And then they went on trying to, I guess, charge him or whatever, and realized they had nothing on him. Because in any of the videos, he's not pushing anyone. He's the one that's getting pulled and pushed by other people trying to protect him. But he never touches not one of those officers, and those officers are the ones who actually touch him. So they had to drop the charges. But after, one, they violated his rights. There was no need for them to be grabbing him. He went on the property as an illegal authority to be able to do so in his position as mayor. And as the woman, Representative LaMonica McIver, she too, all of them had the right to be there for oversight, 100%. Right? Now, I know they don't go so far to talk about anything in depth, like, the reason why, what I'm saying, that these things happen. I mean, this is from the DOJ. But their job is, look, there's not supposed to be any inhabitants in that building. No one's supposed to be staying there, living there. And they was going there to make sure they were not housing anybody, that like these immigrants, inside that building before they take them somewhere else, because they can't have a body in that building staying there, period. They don't have the license for it. So they end up going there, doing their job. They get onto the property, and then they told them they had to leave. They leave said property, but stay outside and do a presser and do a protest and all these things like that. And then the officers come and try to arrest the mayor. ICE. They come and arrest the mayor for what? What is his charges? We never found out what his charges were. Trespassing? He was not on the property at the time. And as a legal authority, being the mayor, a representative in that particular state, he had the right to be there. So you're arresting him illegally. And then while you're trying to grab onto a black man, officers that is, what do you think the black people around him, knowing the law, that you guys are breaking it, what do you think they're going to do? They're not going to let you go and do, a George Floyd on him. They weren't about to let that happen. So they protected him. And in so protecting him, you want to go ahead and charge New Jersey Representative LaMonica McIver, because they were grabbing a hold of her and she said, "Get up off my hands." That right there is an attack. With somebody grabbing your hand and you like, "Get off my hand," that's an attack. And then they show another version where she's getting pushed in the back by other people who are trying to get to the mayor, and this is people who were there at the protest, and gets pushed in the back. She ends up like tapping the dude on the back or whatever. If you notice, the ICE agent didn't even move when she touched him. So either she's super weak or she just tapped the dude. And just so tapping him, she deserves to be charged. Now let me get this straight here. This is the people who are now talking about law and order, who just let go when they first came in office, no more than 4 months ago. This is the 5th month, so it came in January 21st. One of the first things they did, no, not bring the prices down. No, not take care of the American people. One of the first things they did was let criminals back onto the street, calling them the people who were treated badly. And Donald Trump was saying something to the effect of, they spent 3 years in prison. That's a long time to be in there. It's a hard, tough time in prison. All they did was protest. They should be able to protest. Oh, so they should be able to protest while beating people, while people get unalived while breaking into and entering into a place that was not open for them. Had it been open for them, they wouldn't have had to crash open a window with equipment that the officer owned. They stole a shield from one of the officers and came and busted a window out with it and climbed through the window. If you were invited, why didn't you go through the doors? And then they talk about them going through, well, they let them through the doors. No, they climbed in the window, then went and opened the doors for everybody to come in. With all those people and 4 officers at the door, what do you expect them to do? Fight every last one of them? Of course, they're going to back off. Not unless they're going to gat them up, which personally I thought they should have did. But that's on them, because you know damn well that black people have been jumping in there, at least 12 to 15 bodies would have came out of there. Black bodies, if they had attacked the house like that. But I digress on that. This woman tapped somebody on the back. She deserves jail time. These people, unalive people, came to unalive them, had bombs set in other areas, had weapons, and they kept telling you, there's no weapons. How did these people end up bloody? Used doors to smash on officers. The videotape's there. This is not some movie that was made to represent what happened. It's what happened. And touching somebody deserves jail time. Beating police officers. Like you care about police officers. It's like, dude, this world is flipped upside down. These people are infected with stupidity. I mean, this disease should kill, but instead it's emboldening these fools. I mean, having some disease like this, you should not even be able to feed yourself. I mean, it's just insane how stupid that can be. But let's move past stupid. It's evil. The things they're doing aren't something that you just, oh, I just got confused. No, it is evil. It is evil actually getting power. And because it has most of the time a white face, we don't consider it that. Now, think about how sick you got to be to see crimes happen before your face. But because it's a white face, it's no longer really a crime. It's somebody having the right to harm people. But if said brown people or black people or Asian people decided that their rights was to harm white people, they'd be all up in a fucking tizzy. That's a crime. That's a crime. We'll have no more of that. Oh, but you have a lot of doing it to people of color and thinking that it's fairness. But when it happens to you, it's a crime. At some time, people, we got to get rid of white power and put back into place, or put into place American power. We all are Americans. This white power nonsense needs to go. We need to put a fork in it. That shit's done. Nobody wants that shit except for the 30% or whatever it is, and there's 70% of us. We can get rid of that if we so choose. The point of the matter is, we don't fight as hard to do good by people as they fight as hard to harm people. We don't come up with strategies to shut them down. We want to give them just the same rights, in which they turn around and stab you with those rights instead of help you. They're the party of holding you down, not lifting you up. The Republican Party is gone. I don't care what anybody says. You say you're a Republican, you're MAGA. If you're a real Republican, like from back in the day, whom I still had issues with, but I could agree and disagree on certain things, that is now the Independent Party. They have either defected to not be on any party, or they're in the Independent Party. The Republican Party's gone. If you're a Republican right now, you're part of this nonsensical MAGA. Because if you're not fighting against them, you know what trips me out the most in this whole thing is that we keep hearing, what are the Democrats going to do? What are the Democrats going to do? What are the Republicans going to do? The ones who used to be sane, but just maniacal. Didn't care about nobody but themselves. Cared about money over people. Those people, sometimes you can rationalize with. These people, you cannot. Whatever happened to the Republicans fighting back against these nut jobs that are the MAGA now? They just laid down and died. And they want Democrats to take care of their infestation. They let these roaches in, and they want us to come and fumigate while they're over there sitting over in the corner. We don't have any power anymore. Yes, you do. Get out and start talking. Why aren't these Republicans who care about this country, why aren't they on tour talking to their people, trying to bring them back from the infestation? Always talking about what Democrats need to be doing. We didn't bring that nut job shit here, and it's not our fault that people decided to go to the nut job realm. It was because Republicans allowed this infestation and shut their mouths when they could have killed it. You had a chance to fumigate this a long time ago, but you sat there with your mouths closed, quiet as a mouse. And as this disease infestation started to take over, you left instead of taking care of it. You let it grow into the monster that it is, and then just bounce and act like it's a Democrat's fault that shit took place. It kills me how these people don't take responsibility for fucking nothing. These Republicans that fell to the wayside, lost their positions when they had the guts to be able to do it, they were gutless. When they had the power to be able to say, nah, they said yes. Most of them voted alongside Donald Trump the minutes when he first came in, like 90-something%. They wanted the policies at any cost, and that's what they got it, at all costs. Many of them no longer have a job, aren't in power, but yet want to ask the Republicans, the Democrats, what you doing? Said, we're over here trying to fix your fuck up. That's what we're doing. We shouldn't have to. You should be on the front lines saying, I fucked up. This is wrong. I like the policies and I allowed this to do whatever it's done. You ain't out here doing that. You did that during your investigation. Now, Adam, whatever his name is, and Liz, all of them just sitting in the corner. Where they at? They should be having town hall meetings, even though they're not in a position of power. Their name recognition is still there. They can get people to convene and talk about it. They can get the media to come and talk to them about it. Where are they at? Where are these Republicans that were leaders at one point in time? Here we are listening to Obama talk about certain things that Donald Trump is doing that's not right. Listen to Obama's wife, Michelle, every once in a while having a speech or something, saying something about it. What happened to Bush? Where's George Bush at? Where are all these Republicans that allowed this infestation? Why are they quiet? Do they agree with it? On their way out, they were saying they didn't agree with it. When he was running for president, they said they're going to vote against him. Now that he's in power, what are they doing? Putting it all on the Democrats. I heard a Republican this past week say something about, if the Democrats would have did their job, they wouldn't have lost the position. No, you guys lied to your people, told them you're going to do something you didn't do. The Republicans of old capitulated because they saw you guys gaining power with the R behind your name, so they had no problem putting these crazy ass MAGAs in the R position just as long as they got what the fuck they wanted the entire time. And that was to fuck over the American people so they could become rich and powerful and don't have to answer to none of you except for the billionaires. That's what the Republican Party has always stood for. And they got that power by putting nut jobs in power. And now they're quiet. Because what they've always wanted, they've gotten. Not by the way they wanted it to. They wanted their morals to be of a real standard. But when they had to give up their morals to get what they wanted, they were happy with that. Because I don't know about you, but I don't like people lying to me. That's one of my morals. I'll never get that up. You can't give me enough money, no power, no nothing. I ain't giving up that you can just lie to me because you can pay me. Fuck all that. That tells me what kind of character you have. That if money comes into your life, you're willing to forget that you're a Christian. If money comes into your life, you're willing to forget that you made a pact with somebody that you're going to do whatever. If money comes to your life, you sell your own wife, daughter, and kids. If money comes into your life, and I'm like, so you might as well just go and get married to money. Because what the hell are these things for? What the hell is your wife for? What the hell is your kids for if you're willing to give them up for money? What the hell are morals if you're willing to give them up for money? That party is sick. From the ones who don't like Trump to the ones who do. Because as long as they're getting their way, they're quiet. They don't like Trump, but as long as those policies are the way they want them to be, I guess that's what had to happen for us to get our policies. That's why these fools don't care about their own citizens. Every 2 years, just wait. When the election starts to come, then they're going to have these bleeding hearts for American citizens. We're trying to help you out. We're trying to do. Then once that election is over, they ain't going to talk to your ass ever again. You talk about doing these town hall meetings, they regret doing them. And they don't even like doing them. Because they got to listen to you. And when they get to have them, and they seldom do it, but when they do have them, they're trying to tell you what the world is like, how your everyday life is. You're telling them, hey, my life is not going well. You guys need to fix this. And instead of fixing it, they tell you what's going on. Well, we're trying, but I think we should be focusing on this. We don't want to focus on that. Well, that's what we're focusing on. So you're telling me you went to Washington to do your bidding, but lied to us about what you was going to do, our bidding. But now it's all about how much money you can get, how much stock you can buy, how much information you can learn about so that you can become wealthy. And then when you're 10 years over, your family's got a plethora of cash in the bank for generations to come. And every one of us gets fucked over because you go in and do one thing that you promise people to do. You think that's enough. That's what's been going on with these politicians. And it's about time we eradicate this white power, white nationalist bullshit, this rhetoric, and decide, like, you know what? It's American power. All of us make the decisions. We the people. It is not we the white people. It's not we other people of color. It is we the people. And seeing as how we're all Americans, we all get to vote. We all have loved ones or people that we love and want to leave stuff for, then it's we the people. Your people aren't more valuable than my people. We're all the same value. Humans, Americans. You get people trying to be supreme. It's insane. It's insane. We are Americans. F that white power crap. F that white nationalist crap. F all that. Because that doesn't mean anything. White ain't even a thing. It's something they made up. You're Italian. You're Irish. You're European. You're Swedish. I mean, come on. Tell me if white is a thing, tell me what is a white food. Don't say mayonnaise. What's a white food? I know Italian food. I know Swedish food. I don't know a white food. Tell me what a white food is. We need to get rid of these terms and deal with whom we really are. You're Italian. Then what kind of Italian food you like? I have yet to have a white food. Chuck Johnson, white bread. that was a good one. But bread's been around for a long time just because it's white. It's brown and white and all that. But yeah, that's funny. But really, it doesn't make any sense. Good one, Chuck. That was funny. So today, they brought charges, I guess, against New Jersey Representative LaMonica McIver. And that's in New Jersey, which the U.S. attorney there is Alina Habba. Now, another misnomer that we've had to deal with is that this country, not even this country, white people who are racist, biased toward people for all kinds of reasons, whether They upset with DEI, upset with affirmative action. All these things were created because white people wouldn't give anybody else an opportunity. And even to this day, how racist it is, they literally think that DEI means didn't earn it, and that being white alone gives you the opportunity to have jobs that pay more, not because you're more talented. I mean, they hijack everything. They call merit something different than what it is. Merit, we need to have somebody there with more experience about what they do. And I'm like, so what do you have for your position to be who you are? What background do you have? And almost every person that Donald Trump has handpicked is not qualified for the positions they were actually put in. I would say at least 99% of them have no education in the jobs in which they're in. Robert F. Kennedy Jr., this dude knows nothing about medicine or health. He is a conspiracy nut. And a conspiracy nut is on top of our health. Do you feel more safe with a dude that literally took a bear, baby cub, unalived it, threw it in the park as a joke? That dude. The same dude that took his daughter when he heard in the news that a whale had came up on shore. He ran as quick as he could before the police or anybody else can get there because he heard about it in the news. I don't know if it's radio or couldn't have been print because then it would have been everybody been out there already. He goes out there with some kind of saw or something, cuts the whale's head off, puts it on top of his vehicle. Whale juice flowing into the vehicle. The daughter recounts this, getting all this goo on her arm because it's just spewing all over the vehicle. That dude, that dipshit is the head of our health. That's not merit. And anybody who thinks that, you're stupid. Merit is somebody who knows what the hell they're doing. Merit is a Dr. Fauci. I mean, this man has saved countless lives. If anybody's had any kind of disease of any sort, or known somebody back in the day that had, HIV or AIDS, or even saw somebody on television, more than likely he was the one that they were resorting to say, hey, what should I do? As he even watch it, listen to what he's talking. He did an in-depth interview, talking about how hard it was to him at the very beginning of this AIDS pandemic, that people he got to know in these hospitals he couldn't help. He would sit up and cry at night, knowing that people who came in he befriended were going to die. And this man dedicated his life to save people's lives. He was the only one that listened to them. We would not, it's safe to say, we would not have a Magic Johnson here today, or many other lives saved today, had this man not ever existed. Because this is the man who listened to them. Because they were trying to solve it and fix it and do everything else, and they was doing it because they was thinking, just because I'm smart, I know. He listened to the individuals with it, and that helped him determine how to fix it. Brains. Amazing shit in a dipshit. And that's called merit in white nationalist America. That's not supreme. That's weak. That's not supreme at all. Nowhere near it. When you got to fake it and hope that one day you make it, that sucks when it comes to a situation that you're in a position where you should have made it already. Who gets to try out and become the manager of something while they're still learning it? People are coming to this man asking him, what should we do about the measles pandemic? And this fool sitting in his chair, not even professionally, he's sitting to the side because he can't handle the fact that he's getting bombarded with shit he should know, but he doesn't know. Sitting there just, I don't think that I should be telling people what. Man, that's the position. Quit. You can be wrong. We don't care about that. But learn, get an educated guess, right? focus, and then come out and tell the people this is the most successful thing to do for like measles. He done went 400 miles off center to come back to say what at this one meeting? What is the most effective thing that you can use right now to thwart off the measles, to head it off? Is it the vaccine? You had to pull it out of him. Yes. It's the vaccine. So why is it that there are babies and people who have died before you could come to that conclusion? Why is it that when we had 3 of these people very, very sick, you weren't on a campaign to tell people to vaccinate their children if they want their children to survive? What we've seen so far, this man has not done the homework to tell the American people what happened. He said the most transparent. I'm like, sir, why don't you tell us how many people have died from this and how many have been saved just by the vaccine alone? How many of these people were so sick that they ended up taking the vaccine and it made them a little better, even though they had it already? I mean, whatever is happening, what has been happening to those who, nothing. This man has nothing to bring but a defiant mentality. We don't need to fight with you. We need information. And if you're not going to provide information, what the fuck are you there for? I have never seen in my life. I mean, think about it. You go to your doctor and you say, Doc, I don't know what's going on, but I got this wheeze and I can't breathe. And what I'm saying, I don't know exactly what it is. Is it asthma? Is it cancer? I don't know what you think it is. I'm here to see you. You're the one supposed to tell me what it is. But did you look in the book? I'm like, what book? Did you figure it out? Did you talk to anybody else? You consult anybody else? I'm here to consult you, fool. That's your job. What test should we take? I don't know what you think we should take. Do you really want that as your doctor? Now, this dude is the head doctor who isn't a doctor, giving you advice. It is like going to ask a homeless person, what should I do for this cough? And I'm like, do you realize he's on the street and homeless? You really think he got the answer? That's RFK, a crackhead. This dude, you going to that sits there. I don't know. The fuck is that? That's America right now. We have no merit leaders. None of them qualify for their positions. Not one. This tells me what? America, we need to redefine who can become president in this country. We need to have a minimal test for people to run for president. Because this right here, we just elected one of the dumbest people on the planet. I'll never erase from my head how his professor at Wharton Business College literally said every time somebody mentioned his name, and this is before he ran for office, that he was the dumbest goddamn student I ever had. He never left goddamn out, and he always said it with anger. Like, I can't believe I had to teach that dumbass. That's how he responded. Go look it up. Don't believe me. This professor is gone now. Used to talk to his friend, and whenever he brought that dude up, he had this visceral, I can't stand him. He was just stupid. You got to be extra stupid for a professor to even remember you, and then to realize that you were so dumb you stuck in his head that he gets angry just to even mention the fact he had to teach you. You have got to be extraordinarily stupid for that. Ask any teacher you know. They don't remember every dumbass that comes to their school. And trust me, Donald Trump was with rich people. And he was the dumbest person at a rich school. That takes a lot. And that's who we elected, a dumbass. And we're going to sit here, Americans, and look at this and not set up some kind of parameters that we don't get something like this again if we survive this? Yes, we do. We got to put in parameters. And I also say, Americans, when they get out of office, there are many of them that need to go to jail. I'm just saying. It ain't got to be no political thing, but just the laws they're breaking is insane. I say they should be trying to put him in jail right this minute. Because the things they're doing are just wrong. Arresting people without a cause to arrest them. And then talk about they want to get rid of habeas corpus, but it's not gone yet. So if it's not gone yet, that means people right now need to be getting due process. And they're breaking the law by not giving them due process. Not only not giving them due process, kidnapping them and taking them to another country. Now, I don't care what anybody says. Everybody who took part in taking these individuals out of this country committed kidnapping and should be charged. Every officer and everybody carrying this out should be charged with kidnapping. You had no right to take them. You didn't give them due process. They didn't even know why they were being snatched up. Many of them said they never broke any law. CBS did a study, 60 Minutes did a study on them and found out that 75% of them were never committed a crime. You lied on them, you snatched them, and you took them across state lines, not even state lines, country lines, to another fucking country and put them in harm's way. That is the minimum each one of those people should be facing, is kidnapping. And if Democrats get into power, that's what you need to be doing. If the House and the Senate switch, and I hope it switches in a large way, every last one of these people should be going to jail. They don't have immunity. And if they do, take it away from them. Because no human being should have the right to snatch another human being for no fucking reason. And then take them to a country where we don't even know if all of them are still alive. They took them to the worst prison. We don't know if they're alive. There hasn't been no health check. Hell, we didn't know where they were at for the longest time. They need to be in prison. Point blank, period. So Democrats, it ain't about arresting your constituents or your colleagues. It ain't about that. It ain't about no political trying to get at them. No. Laws are laws. And if they're breaking them, you need to charge them. They're charging you for shit you didn't even do. Tried to charge Mayor Ras Baraka for a crime he didn't do, then turn around. Oh, yeah, we don't have no evidence that he did that. Well, then why did you arrest somebody when you had no evidence to begin with? You knew you didn't have any evidence. The moment they arrested him, Alina Habba was already on Fox talking about what he had committed a crime already. She had already convicted him on the news, and you're the top, attorney. The U.S. attorney in New Jersey. And you already done convicted somebody? You're innocent until proven guilty. You're on the news saying that he broke the laws. He needs to be charged. Before he had his day in court. You're trying to justify breaking the law. That right there let me know that regime is doing illegal crap. Ask yourself, when was the last time a U.S. attorney in history that we know of went on television and said somebody needed to be arrested for something based off of no evidence? She hadn't even seen the video. She was told by whomever, and she went on the news to report some shit she had no information on other than what somebody said to her. They look at the video, she's got to back up off of it. Not before. They tried to offer him a deal for something he didn't do so that they can seem like they just were lenient on him. They had something against him. You got to also remind yourself, this is the same party that went to court 60-something times saying that they won the election, the 2020 election, and lost all of them except for one because they filed it wrong and they had to go back, and they chose not to go back so they can say they won one. And that win was not really a win. It was saying, we can't move forward until you file this properly. And they couldn't file it properly because it was wrongfully a thing that they were asking to begin with. They had no evidence. So what they're doing to these people, these representatives, there's no evidence. It is just in the news. It is what they need to do. Let's see it. Let's tell our idiot people. They'll believe it. Then we'll pull the charges away. They won't know any different. They won't watch because on Fox and all that, they won't show them pulling the charges away. It'll be on CNN and MSNBC and people like me speaking on it. They won't see that. So they'll have this bubble of stupidity. That'll think like, oh, they're getting him. And you can say, nah, they ain't got him. He's over there. They won't even believe it. This is the stupidity we're dealing with. This is the stupidity we're dealing with. I'm going to see. Kristi Noem. I'll show you this.
What is habeas corpus?
Well, habeas corpus is a constitutional right that the president has to be able to remove people from this country and suspend their right to.
Let me stop you, ma'am.
Suspend their right
Habeas
to.
corpus, excuse me, that's incorrect.
Do you know what section of the Constitution the suspension clause of habeas corpus is?
You'll see that with this meritocracy, not meritocracy, but habeas corpus, you'll see that that's the meritocracy one, sorry. You'll see the other thing where you have Donald Trump. Once it gets in here, it's kind of like freaking out on me. There we go.
What is habeas corpus?
Well, habeas corpus is a constitutional right that the president has to be.
Oh man, I'm getting there. I'm getting there. There we go. Habeas corpus. Let's go there. Thank goodness. By time. Habeas corpus. What is it? Because it's scary. Like we've been talking about meritocracy. That's why that screen was up. I wanted to actually explain what meritocracy was. Because, you know, we say these terms and not everybody knows them. But habeas corpus, we're going to read both definitions just in case you get one of these nut jobs saying, see, number 2 was right. We're going to read them. Of course, it's a law, a writ requiring a person under arrest to be brought before a judge or into court, especially to secure the person's release unless lawful grounds are shown for their detention. The other determination is the legal right to apply for habeas corpus. The second part to that. So it's saying basically you have to follow the Constitution, which means you have to have due process. Now, that's what it means. Now, let's listen to what Kristi Noem thinks it is.
What is habeas corpus?
Well, habeas corpus is a constitutional right that the president has to be able to remove people from this country and suspend their right to.
Let me stop you, ma'am.
Suspend their right
Habeas
to.
corpus, excuse me, that's incorrect.
Do you know what section of the Constitution the suspension clause of habeas corpus
I
is
do
in?
not. No.
Do you know which article it is in?
No, I do not, sir.
We'll play that again.
What is habeas corpus?
Well, habeas corpus is a constitutional right that the president has to be able to remove people from this country and suspend their right to.
Let me stop you, ma'am.
Suspend their right
Habeas
to.
corpus, excuse me, that's incorrect.
Do you know what section of the Constitution the suspension clause of habeas corpus
I
is
do
in?
not. No.
Do you know which article it is in?
No, I do not, sir.
Okay. So that is Kristi Noem. And she's in a powerful position in government to charge people, right? Kristi Noem is sitting here telling y'all that the position of, or the definition of habeas corpus is that the person in the presidential position can determine whether it's something he can follow or not follow. She goes off to say it is the right of the president when habeas corpus is the right of the individual to have his or her day in court, to determine whether or not they should be charged or not. They got a right to defend themselves. You can't just walk around and say, I'm a criminal, and then I say, no, I'm not, but I don't have anybody to say that to. You as a president or leader can just throw me in a cave for like 100 years if you want, and no problem. No, that's the reason why we got habeas corpus, so that if you say I did something, you must prove it. You just can't just willy-nilly just, I think you did this, I think you did this, I think you did that, and off with them. That we're not in this kingdom when they say off with your head, and they listen to the king, and the king just says it, and it is what it is, and he doesn't have any reason or just, I just feel like that today. That's what this is about. And you got this woman in a leadership position, Kristi Noem, in a leadership position, powerful leadership position. And she is telling you that habeas corpus is something that it's not. Now, I kept messing up before, and you'll see it. But just in case people don't know, we're going to go and determine what, in this situation, what is meritocracy? Because you've noticed that the white nationalists, you notice that most every white person that's in office right now, that's with Trump, are always talking about, and that's how they kind of rose to fame, DEI, didn't earn it. If a black person in a plane is a pilot, I'd be kind of worried because black people are just not good at stuff, even though we invent most of the shit in this damn country. On top of that, almost everything we get into, we're really good at it when we're actually talented at it, and we rise to the top. But no, never mind that. Somehow we're defective human beings because we're just not white. That's their ideology. And merit means you got to be white in order to do the job. That's the only way I'm going to trust you. I didn't say this. They said this. Why would you say you look at a white pilot or a white female pilot and say that you're worried about your life? You have to understand, black people in this country, if I, and this, it sounds even the opposite of what they're saying, right? But if I get on a plane and I see a black pilot, male or female, there's one thing I know about black people. They got to overachieve just to get an average job. So if I see a black person in a position like pilot, I'm the safest I'll ever be. Why do I say that? That pilot had to fight to get there, and they don't want to lose that. That pilot went through some shit to get there, and they don't want to lose that. They had to bypass the racism, and if it's a woman, they had to bypass the racism, the sexism, and the otherizing of black women to get into that position. That sister is talented. She's probably better than 5 white dudes that do it, but in their minds, just because she's black, she's worse. If I see a white woman in that position, I know she's at least 3 times better than the white man sitting next to her in order for her to get that position. The shit she had to go through and bypass and prove herself to the nth degree to just get in, let alone grow in that position. To be honest, there is no culture that I would look at in that position and say, I'm afraid for my life. I have no problem seeing a white guy do it. I have no problem seeing a little person do it. Because I truly believe if they're in that position, they work their butts off to get there. And it may not be true, but that's what I believe. And I know for damn sure as a black person, that black woman, that black man are supreme in the situation compared to their counterparts. There's no way in hell they would get in that position based on the way this country runs. Why do I say that? And I don't mean like a supreme being, I'm talking about like supreme, like the top of the top, cream of the crop. That person graduated like magna cum laude of pilots. They ain't got no average ass black people as pilots. That shit ain't happening. But when you look at other positions when you talk about meritocracy in our government, these people have no education in the positions in which they're in. But we're going to look at meritocracy. The government or the holding of power by people selected on the basis of their ability. See, I come from the era, I'm 54. I came from the era where you had a resume to get a job. You literally had to have experience in that position. Now, don't get me wrong. There were jobs or trades even, or, not necessarily careers, but jobs or trades even where they trained on the job. Fine. But you weren't about to get a career or a job where you could cut your hand off or your arm off if you didn't know how to work with the machinery. If they didn't have a training program and they needed somebody on that resume with 3 to 5 years of experience, you wasn't getting a black person with 0 experience. But you could get a white person with 1. That's facts. I'm not sure every white person did. I'm not going to say that. But I'm saying that if that white person had a cousin that was already working there, yeah, he could possibly get in. Depends on his cousin's position. His cousin's a manager or something? Yes, sir. His cousin is a regular employee? Maybe. But they have more than a 50% chance, whereas a black person or a person of color had 0. A society governed by meritocracy or a ruling or influential class of educated or skilled people. In all of those determinations, which one does Kristi Noem and Alina Habba fit? They don't. So it's not a meritocracy. See, what they're talking about is white supremacy when they say meritocracy. It means put white people in because just their race alone, the color of their skin, gives them enough merit. It tells us that they've, less melanated, so they're more supreme, even though they're an idiot. This woman didn't even know what it meant, didn't even know what article it was in, had no idea. I guarantee you, she probably didn't even know if it was actually a constitutional thing. She just probably thought, this is what, president said to me, so this is what it is. This woman is not qualified for that position. Yet she's pulling a check. Our money, the people's money is going into her pocket for not knowing what she was doing. She has 0 years experience at what she's doing, yet she's in the position. RFK has 0 years of experience in what he's doing. He has been a mouthpiece at one point in time of his life as a lawyer for actual global warming. He's on the right side of things at one point. And then he flipped his lid and went to the point of conspiracies. Conspiracy theory after another, after another, after another. And at this point, he can't make a decision on his own. He's sitting here telling people, what do you think? You're the one with access with all the brainy people. If Donald Trump's going to put your dumb ass in position or something, you need to go speak to the smart people and have them give you some footnotes so you can bring your ass in here and seem like you're smart. Otherwise, why don't you just send the person who knows the best in your office to speak? Because you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. This country has dumbed itself down to make people feel like they're okay. I understand if you're dumb and you want to feel like you're smart, then learn what you do best and do that. But you should not be striving to do something that you know you're not qualified for. This is the thing that's the difference between good people and bad people. Let's just keep it very, PG. Good people and bad people. A bad person will, like these people are, will put themselves in a position of power knowing they can't help anybody because they don't know what the job is or what it takes. These Dan Bongino people, this Pete Hegseth, this Cash Patel. They're conspiracy nuts. They have no idea how the government works. None whatsoever. If I am doing something in which, let's say like for health, if I care about people in their lives and I want them to live, that's why a doctor takes an oath, because he or she is there to help people, to make sure that they do everything they can to save people, not lie to them as they die like Donald Trump did with COVID, knowing that they were going to die but kept lying. Knowing that Dr. Fauci was doing his best, but because he didn't know what the fuck he was doing, he had to project onto Dr. Fauci his idiocy. And because he kept looking stupid in front of Dr. Fauci, had his goons literally talk shit and talk down to the man that really was a major part of saving many of our lives. It's disgusting what they've done to that man and others who spent their entire lives building credibility, staying up late nights, learning, retaining information, coming up with ideas to solve problems that could save lives, talking to other professors and doctors, trying to figure out solutions for things that were not necessarily on our soil yet. They would go overseas so that things wouldn't make it over here. Has this idiot left the country to help us? Has he figured out some other things? Is he going to go on to this ideology of, I'm going to chase around the world the things that I don't want to come into this country so that we know what it's like? And if that thing arrives here, what we need to do to thwart it off by listening to other countries and what they did. It may have taken them a year, but it may have figured it out. Have you heard him do anything like that for the American people? Fuck no. Bad people think about themselves. Good people think about themselves and everybody else. Treat others like you would like to be treated. These people don't care about nobody but white supremacy. They eat up and use people of color like it ain't nobody's business. You see these people out here doing all this nonsensical crap. Where is Tim Scott? And people say, I don't care where he's at. I do, because that's the dude who was blowing up, kissing Donald Trump's ass, and he got nothing out of it. I want people to ask him the question, how is it that you did all this shoe shining and boot kissing, taint licking, and nothing came out of it for you? I want to know that. What's up with you and your wife? Because the idea, or your lady you're supposed to marry, because you didn't pick her up until the Republicans thought you was gay. They had a hint that they thought you was gay, and then they start pulling away from you. Then all of a sudden, pop goes the white woman. All of a sudden, she's all over the place. Why is she all over the place once the Republicans don't want to elect you as president because you may be gay? All of a sudden, that's when you have, whatever they call that on the side, the beard. Byron Donalds, what's up with him? He's going out here talking and stuff like that. People talking crap to him because he deserved it at his not rally, but his town hall meeting. He couldn't get enough of the media. This dude was everywhere. You see him seldomly. What did he get out of it? Absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. The other guy who was going on tour with him, the other black guy, I think it was like 5 of them. I remember they had like a NFL type setup. You know what I'm saying? They sit, how they have their little, it looks like a news desk, and you see in the background, you see the football playing and outside the field. They had a news desk like that where all of them were standing around, or at least they were sitting around in like a half circle. All the black men, and it was like, they said that everybody in our constituency are white. We're representing white people with black face. I said, well, that says they're not racist, is what they were saying. I'm like, that doesn't say they ain't racist. That says that I get black people to say what the fuck I want. You're their beard. It's like, hey, look at it. Look, I got the N-words out in the front speaking my words. I know they don't believe it, but I put money in their pocket. They say what I want to say. Just like those toys you used to wind up and shit. And then they motherfucking ting, 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 ting. That's what they were. Wind them up. Give them money. And you can tell that's who they were. Because whenever they were at these barber shops, they would have cognac. They have, cigars, you know what I'm saying, sitting there and got that pimp lean. That right there told me you were straight hood, but trying to be, bougie. And they did all that for what? They ain't did anything for you. They don't give shits about your city, your state that you represent. I bet your people whom you represent, they want something. These bills or something, they're going to want something. You can't provide it because you have no power. They literally put you in place. And now they're probably realizing why. They literally have nothing to say in this entire thing. The president doesn't give them the time of day. So whatever issues in your particular community these white people want, they ain't getting it because they'd have to listen to you to get it. And they put you guys on the shelf. Negroes on the shelf. That's, just put you right there while they do their business. And then when they need you to bootlick again, oh, yeah, Byron Donalds, whatever issue they have next that may incorporate your community or black community, they'll pull you off the shelf and put you in. And then once you do your little job, they'll take you and put you right back on the Negro shelf. That's why I want to know where those fools are at. Because I want people to give them shit for it. They don't get to escape it. They need to have everyday trash talk about them. Every day. Because the stuff that you're talking, what's going on now? You had all this stuff to talk about. You was all over the place talking about you was owning the libs, and now your own people are owning you. They always did. You guys just try to act like you were somebody. To whom? One thing I realized, there's been a time in my life when I've had a lot of money and I've had some money. And when I had like a lot of money at one point in time in my life, one of the things that I realized, because I came from being poor originally, one thing I realized is that when you got money as a black person, I can't speak from any other culture, so it may be the same all the way around. But when you come from nothing to something and have money, had a $100,000 Mercedes, $4,000 suits and shit, you know what I'm saying, living in lofts and, got, exponential cash, ain't got to worry about nothing, got the newest watch, the newest this, the newest shoes, all that shit, right? And you're living in a nice, like, wealthier community. Nobody gives a fuck about what you got on. Because that community, they have that and more. They ain't thinking about you. Only time, just like these men are doing, the only time they're acting like that, they that lean, smoking their cigar, drinking their cognac, and talking to black people all disrespectfully, like you don't know, and doing all that. The only time that even matters is when they were at these places, because they realized these black people that they were talking to had less than them. So they were flexing with their little shit. But they go to their white communities where they at. What'd you say, boss? You want some more to drink, boss? I'll go get you some, boss. That's them. They ain't leaning, smoking, nothing. They straight up. And yes, boss, whatever you say, boss, that's them. Because none of them care about any of the crap they got because they got way more than them. The only time it matters or what they have is when they go back to the hoods where they came from and start to flex. But when they go back to their own communities, they're absolutely nobodies. Why is that Negro in my neighborhood? Point blank, period. I guarantee you in their community, they're called the N-word every other week. But they'll never tell you that. They'll never tell you that. Because it defeats the purpose. It makes them look weak because everything they've been lying to people about, they ignore because people keep feeding them and turning that little screw in their back just so they can have a semblance of power. Now, we see what the meritocracy is and isn't. None of Donald Trump's elected people that he's assigned, none of them fit meritocracy. But they're always talking about it. They're always talking about it, trying to get people to believe, just like they've stolen the term woke, right? They've stolen the term, meritocracy. And one of the things that we need to do is start stealing their terms, right? And start using them and rewriting them, like the WP thing that they do about white power. I'm turning that into something else, white ussies. Because to me, they're a bunch of ussies. Because you're worried about power, you should already have it. You shouldn't have to gang up. If you was given to it by God, you should already have it. You don't have it. You never had it. That's why you got to go around labeling yourself something. So I'm calling you white ussies. Go ahead and get your little white ussy on, because that's what you got to do to gain some kind of power. But that's weakness to me, even though ussies are strong. Don't get it wrong. Ussies are strong. But anyway, I just want to make fun of them and put something out there that they get called. I'm like, oh, you one of them too? You're a white ussy? Anyway, that's my 2 cents to laughter today. So on the other thing about, somebody mentioned, I see some of the comments, I can't read them while I'm speaking, but Elon Musk, supposedly he's in the news today. I didn't see him verbally. I saw him they had a tweet or something. He said something to somebody, but I didn't see the video or anything that he had. But what he said was that he was going to be stepping down somewhat from, he had pretty much done what he needed to do with the DOJ thing. And I guess DOJ's going to stay there, but him being the leader, I guess he's either being edged out or he is timed out or whatever. His businesses have been failing as of late. And, SpaceX is the only one that's kind of like still doing okay. And one of the things I needed to do is thank all the men, women, young adults, children, all that, who have decided to say, fuck Tesla, fuck Elon, and fuck any of his businesses, and fuck billionaires. I really thank you for that, because you have been setting a standard that is starting to force them to run away from the crap they were trying to do. He is the richest man in the world, but because his businesses are starting to go south, he is stepping away. If his businesses were skyrocketing, he'd still be there. He'd still be wanting to stay there. So I thank you guys out there who are saying, fuck Tesla, fuck Elon, fuck billionaires. Love it, because your efforts to not buy from them is going to take the power away from them and give it back to the people. They've had all the leverage on us. It is time. There's more of us than there are of them. It's time we leverage our power and get them to do what they need to do for us, the people. You see, what rich people, billionaires, have been doing for the longest time is being able to sucker us through media. Now we're not on mainstream media. We're doing our own thing here. It's harder for them to get to us, but they still get to us. But it's harder. So if we're not paying attention to those $100 million ad campaigns as much as the TV was, they're trying to do it. They've been doing it on social media. But I rarely see them, so it hasn't gotten to me and people who think like me as much. So we need to keep our foot on their necks in that situation, because, like, again, what the billionaires have done successfully is be able to turn American people against each other while they rob us. We turn our backs and argue with one another, they're robbing us blind on both sides of the spectrum. They're going over there to rob us, they're going over here to rob us. While we're arguing, bickering, we're forgetting that we're Americans, and they got us tripping over party. They don't give two shits about the party. They care about their money, and they care about plans and strategies to keep their money and multiply their money. They love that power and that connection and close proximity to power, right? To be able to control. That's what they love the most. They leverage their money to be able to get the people in power to do what they need them to do, the elected officials. They even put so much money behind people to even get them elected. Now, how do the people do the same? Well, it's time that we leverage the billionaires. Stop giving them our money. Slow it down to the fact that you come to a crawl on buying shit from them. Buy overseas if you have to. Because the reality is, the American billionaire has been fucking over the American citizen for so long, getting us to say buy American and be happy about America, when America hasn't given a fuck about its own citizens in forever. Why? Because why would you go get a product made in China that took our jobs away to begin with? Over 700,000 jobs lost very quickly after this happened, years after this happened. 700,000 jobs have been lost. Union wage jobs for the most part, which literally means people who, that's why our society is the way it is. We used to, in my time, in my parents' time, have one job that a person could take care of a family and raise it. It's not because everything just went up, skyrocketed. That's true too. It was also because there hasn't been any kind of a real raise in 40 years. We lost jobs over 40, 50 years ago. About 40 years ago, I guess. Oh, a little bit over 40 years. We lost the jobs that were living wage jobs, union jobs. We lost the everything that was possible for us to even grow. So now we're like having 3 and 4 jobs just to get by. And that all became because of the billionaires. And while we was going through that, what did the billionaires do? They know they got rid of our jobs. They know they did it because they got tired of paying us living wages. And then they started computerizing shit. What do we get out of this whole situation? Oh, we got astronomical pricing. Yeah. So they took our jobs overseas, which we could barely afford, and then start charging us astronomical prices. Going out and buying getting Nikes built for $5, $10, selling them for, if it's Jordans, $300-$400 or more now. I don't know how much they are now, but back in the day, they were the highest shoe. When I grew up, they was like 100 something. Then it was like 200, then it was like 300, shit like that. Same shoe being designed over there, $15. Bring it over here, the things they add, the advertisement, blah, blah, blah. They took it for $15 to $300. They robbed us, got us hooked on brands, got us hooked on, buying the top notch when it really wasn't top notch. They knew they was giving us subpar products and saying they were top notch because the shittier products were the worst of the worst. So they were like $10, $12. The good products were average or mid. So you saw the difference between something that was like patent leather and something that was like low-class leather. Oh, you thought it was just great. Then they give you mid-class leather. You think that's the supreme. That's $5,000, $10,000 shoe. The highest of high of leather that they sell, America don't even deal with. Don't even deal with. The butter leather, it don't even reach America. Because they've been fucking us over for the longest damn time, telling us what's the greatest quality when it really wasn't. And then we get China having to come out and tell us once we get into a war that the things you think are from Italy are coming from China. The designs of the Birkin bags, look, here's a Birkin bag right here. Just ain't been sent out yet to Italy, wherever it is, that they got to slap it on. Here's the damn exact Birkin bag that we're going to be sending over. Just exposing all these fools. And while they're exposing them, most Americans aren't realizing. They're literally telling, hey, Americans, You think we're fucking you? Turn around and look at your own government. I'm walking around with a bag that's a Birkin bag that's $1,500. I got 2 or 3 of them. You over there spending for a house over there for a damn bag. They got you so brainwashed. The same bag in China. All you paying for is a 1,400 or 40,000 or it's 80,000, so it's like 65,000 or actually 75,000 or 70,000 rather. $70,000 tag is what you're paying for. The shit's $1,500 in China. Yeah, America's been fucking us. And the only thing we should be proud of to be an American is the actual citizens. But our government's fucked toward us. And it's time we take America back. It's time we take America back. It's about time that we let them know we're going to look for people to vote for, to elect. We don't need your help anymore. We need to start looking for people. We don't need your help anymore assigning people for us. Fuck all that. Because you're assigning people to keep the system as it is. We're trying to assign people to make the system better than it ever was. We the people should be real. Not this slogan you guys made just so that they got us believing you gave a damn about us. They don't. Because if they did, they would be listening to you. Not just once a year. You ever thought about why hasn't all the money and the creativity this country has, why have they really never, government-wise, not no third party, why haven't they made a system for us all to be able to vote? Why haven't they made it mandatory as a citizen that you must vote? So that we get a representation of what everybody wants, not just the maniacal ones. So not say maniacal, the most dedicated ones, let's say it that way. Because on their side is maniacal. The MAGA, I don't know about the Republican. I don't know what they're doing. But except for the diehard people, they should force all Americans to vote. Every citizen should have to vote, not your decision to or not. You must vote if you're a citizen. I would say that. Why? Because we want a representation of what all people want. We should get rid of these people gerrymandering everything so that they can get as many people as they can to be in their community. No, we should all make a decision on how your state is designed, and that's it. Voting to be voting because we care about the country. American people, take the power back. Stop allowing these parties to determine how the hell we're going to run this damn country. They don't care once you give them the vote. And the ones that, hey, maybe they sneak through and they are good, thank God for them, then they're heavily rewarded in the fact that we back them in things that they're doing. But other than that, no. This country needs an amendment, of course, to our Constitution. And that amendment is to shore up all the BS that allows this administration or any further administration to do what Donald Trump is doing. What Donald Trump is doing is showing us the leaks in the Constitution. And just like the leaks in the tax code, the leaks in the Constitution need to be shored up. Because these people are taking little terms like facilitate, which everybody else takes as you must do. In the court system, it's like, oh, well, facilitate could have means all I got to do is pay for somebody to bring them. That don't mean I got to actually bring them. You need to go through it, Congress, and make sure you determine what these words mean. Because these play on words is only a way to get around the system and not obey the system. This leeway in terminologies has to go. Because the way it's set up, we're all over the place with it. An evil person can become president. I mean, you're just allowing the future presidents of this country who may have a hate for this country, may be homegrown terrorist person in this country, pretending to care about this country and being able to see what they can do to America if elected, and most Americans won't be able to do shit about it. That's what Donald Trump is training. If he is not going to be the person that does it, he is training a Democrat, an independent, or a Republican to destroy America if they are homegrown haters of America and hide it. They can do things to America that we can't do anything about. And that's what he's training. And Democrats and independents and any good Republicans should be fighting to shore that up, not open that shit up. America has to be working their butts off as the elected officials to fix this system, not fuck it up, and not give leeway that it can be determined 1,500 different ways what a word or term means. That's insane. We need to fix that. And that's what Donald Trump is putting out there for us to recognize, even though he wasn't trying to. But Elon Musk, I look at Elon Musk about tearing down. Elon Musk, this is my hope for your future. I hope that this is the start for Elon Musk of the end of Elon Musk. What I mean by that, I want him to go by the way of Mike Lindell, the pillow guy. Yeah. I wanted him to be broke, penniless, and looking back on his life like, where did I fuck up? Oh, I know. When I started believing in crap that wasn't real. Start giving that Heil Hitler sign and then pretending like it wasn't there. When I started playing this white ussy sign stuff and thinking that it meant white power. I want him to remind himself on his deathbed how he used to have and how he is relying on Medicare now because he don't have a dime to his fucking name. That's what I want for Elon Musk. Yes, I want that for him. Painful. Painful. I want him and all of them to be on Medicare near the end of their life. Yep. I want them to have the absolute worst insurance so that they can see what it's like for people and all this hate they built up, that they feel that pain times 1,000,000 in their own lives. Love that. The other thing that happened today, I'm going to leave you guys with, I guess, is not necessarily leave you with, but Jake Tapper was supposed to be on Jimmy Kimmel. Jake Tapper is out here with his co-writer. I think the book is called Original Sin or something like that. And they wrote a book about Joe Biden being, I guess, sicker than they said he was. He said he was at the time that he was running. I don't know when this country got to the phase of we have no problem being prejudiced toward people just because they're old. I mean, we're not supposed to hate on people because they're, women or bi or of any other race, black, trans. We don't want to hate on anybody just for that particular reason. And as far as I know, the elderly was a protected class. And him being elderly and getting sick, that's just human nature. Him lying about it, that's wrong. But again, people do it. Is it illegal? No. It's not illegal. Does it make you feel like you can't trust what he has to say? No, not that. Not for me. I know how hard it is to talk about your personal life and how things are working. Like, for instance, he gave you his medical records, right? So his medical records were there for us to have. Now, was it full on? I don't know. I didn't look at all his medical records. Donald Trump wouldn't give you his medical records. Matter of fact, he had some doctor back in the day who I think has since passed. Right, he's the most healthiest man on the planet. Just non-doctor speak. It was just congratulatory. I'm like, you even got to have your doctor kiss your ass? I mean, he can't give you the real information. He got to come out here and blow smoke up everybody. The most healthiest man I've ever seen alive. It was stupid. But this dude lies all the time. He's going to be like, oh, I'm pretty sure his wife knew. And what's so crazy about that is that Donald Trump Jr., I mean, this dumbass literally thought she was a doctor, but a doctor of science and medicine as opposed to a doctor of education. Whew. But Jimmy Kimmel, and this is stated in something, I didn't research this, but so I know for a fact that he canceled the show that Jake Tapper was supposed to be on. Now, there's been rumor as to why he did it. More than likely, he probably thought it was insensitive since Joe Biden came out and released information about him having, prostate cancer and a prolonged, stage, like stage 4, I believe. Donald Trump was like stage 9. What is he talking about? But that it's another terminology for something else. That it's not about the stage of cancer. It's a stage of something like the size of the tumor or whatever. It's like a 9 something or whatever it is. And that's what he thought is the stage, which lets you know he was stupid. But regardless, you got Jimmy Kimmel didn't have Jake Tapper on. Now, my thing with Jake Tapper is, what happened to him? I mean, I ain't gonna lie. When I used to watch CNN, he was one of my favorite to watch because he was fair. Back in the day, he was fair. And right when I started, because I'd watch him and I know he could draw and do characters. He had a very, to me, fair and balanced way of doing things. He'd get on the Democrats, he'd get on the Republicans. I had no problem with that. But then he started acting, even though he's not MAGA, he started giving MAGA credit for shit. I was like, the fuck is he talking about? Because it didn't make any sense. Like, the reason he was giving him credit. And then they started having more MAGA type people on CNN. And he was one of those people to do that. And I was like, why do you even have this dude on? You know he's going to lie. And he would let that person lie. And then he would interrupt them. And then he'd go on to a different topic. He would not challenge it. So I started saying, okay, he's trying to do that old school reporter anchor type of thing where you just let people say what they're going to say and let the public determine whether he's lying or not. And I'm like, that's fair if society was back there, but it's not. They know they hacked that system. That's the reason why that system had to change. That's the reason why I exist, is because they hacked the system of telling the truth and had news started calling him a liar years ahead of time. We still wouldn't be here. All these people failed the system. The media failed the American people by allowing these lies for years to fester and not do anything about it. When they did say something was wrong, they just say it was wrong and keep it moving. Instead of bringing out the actual receipts to prove that this is wrong and this don't make any sense, you let them come out and flood the zone with a bunch of lies. And on top of that, in the advertising realm, CNN and others, they put on propaganda just because Trump would pay. It's like, yo, man, you gotta, at some point, you gotta look at democracy and realize, if I'm taking money from this person, then I'm complicit in what they're trying to do. I would not air a KKK commercial if they paid me $1 million. It's just not going to happen. And that's a part of what the media started to allow happening. Not the KKK, but a bunch of white nationalists making advertisements. It wasn't political. It was mostly racist and segregationist and against gays. And it was just horrible information, misinformation that they allowed in their advertisements just because it was getting paid $1. And that is a part of changing the mindset of the American soul. So many people started believing some of this shit because it was coming through CNN and Fox and MSNBC. And you're like, this doesn't make sense. Your show is all about Donald Trump is horrible, but the lead into your show was Donald Trump and how great he was. And in between it, there was another ad of how great he was. And then at the end, there's another ad of how great he was. So selling yourselves allowed that to happen. So everybody took part in it. Everybody did. But Jimmy Kimmel came out and denied it. Because again, what are you going to do? He wrote a book to talk about Joe Biden being sick. And they basically lied the entire time that Joe Biden was already sick. They were going to put him in a wheelchair or some shit like that. I'm like, did he pass any bills that I like? Yeah. Like I said to people, and I said this with no disrespect to Joe Biden, no disrespect to anybody else, and even with like they're doing with Donald Trump. I don't care if they brought Joe Biden out in a jar. As long as those bills that were coming that were helping the American citizens was going, I don't give a shit. Because he was of sound mind enough to make deals to help American citizens, even the Republicans and the MAGA shitheads. They benefited under this man. Their hatred won't give him the credit, but they benefited under this man. He was the one that deployed the systems in which to open up the country in a way that you could benefit from. He was the one that saved us from Donald Trump's messes. You were able to survive those last 4 years and have prices be higher, but not astronomically higher. Because Sir Dipshit was out of office and he had to try and fix everything he fucked up. And while he was fixing it, you chose to put the fuck up back in. And now, whomever is the next president is going to have at least a decade of presidents to be able to try and fix what Republicans fucked up royally. We're not going to be able to fix this for a decade. We're going to have Democrats in office for the next like 2 presidencies and 4 presidencies to be able to pull ourselves out of the trash that Donald Trump is doing. And we're relying on idiots to allow our country to move forward. How do you go forward with people who don't know what the fuck they're doing? None of them have the merit for their position. So that literally means the smart people who know what the fuck they're doing, they're going to have to work 10 times hard to fix their fuck ups. And hope that America doesn't fall for this crap again, because these people aren't dying off, they're breeding. They're breeding more stupid people. And they're getting rid of the Department of Education. The next person that comes in, you're going to have to put behind the education as much as you're putting behind the military. Because their stupidity. Whew. And the next president's going to have to put these damn books back into school. Teach our kids real education. How the hell is it that other countries know more about American history than we do, because we don't whitewash the hell out of it? Getting people in France and other countries saying like, no, this is it. And you got white people here telling them that they're wrong. And I'm like, dude, you don't know what the hell you're talking about. You live in this country, have no idea what your country history is. You trying to tell somebody over in France or even in Canada, and they know better than you when you live here. They're more of a patriot than you are, because they studied America and you ignored it. You're studying your feelings. That's crazy. How another person can be more of an American patriot and never step foot in America because they know the true history of this country, while you are an enemy of the state who lives here, trying to destroy democracy so you can save your ego from learning the real past so that you can make a better future. You want the real past to be hidden so that you can lie about the present is better than the past. Once we get to the point of being ignorant as fuck, that's the present, what you're trying to do is better. It's like, no, you destroying history is not going to make the future better. It's not. It's going to make it worse. But I look at it like this, ladies and gentlemen. There's 70% mostly of us care about this country. And when we start to ignore them and start to empower people who think like us, not necessarily a monolith the way we think, but we should be a monolith on loving the country. We should have that pride of the country, not ignoring what this country has done and may continue to do that is not good. Loving something doesn't mean you ignore the problems that that thing may cause. You got to actually fight so that that thing becomes a better country. There's nothing wrong holding your country accountable for doing the ills that it may be doing to other people in other countries. That's a patriot, because you're fighting to make this country a better country, not a country that's just out killing people for no damn reason. We should be able to hold ourselves accountable just like we hold anybody else accountable for their actions. Blind loyalty is not the situation. Loyalty to those who are loyal to you is, as far as I'm concerned. So anyway, that's what I look at for this country. We got to get away from the ideology of white ussies and focusing on American power. American power, meaning we are all Americans. We need to focus on how we as Americans can make this place a better place. Every community, whether you be Latin, or Asian, or European, Italian, Cuban, whatever. Wherever you live at, whatever community that you surround yourself around, there should be no problem with as much money we put into this damn country that we can't give every community something for their taxes that they pay for. If you need a bridge in your area and that we need more homes than ours, then it should be fine. You should be able to determine. It shouldn't be like, no, don't give them this, and no, don't give them that. If we could spend $2 trillion on planes in the military that we never use and then decommission, I'd be damned if we can't take that $2 trillion and put it into communities throughout the United States and be able to give each person, or not person, but each community something for the taxes that they pay for. Opportunities, loans, investments, whatever. It should be working for the people. And what this country does is so good about dividing the people. You got a core of white nationalists that want all the money to go to them and fuck everybody else. Billionaires to them and fuck everybody else. And then the rest of us are fighting for scraps because these people end up putting the people in power that really have their best interests but lie to us. So therefore we got to pick the best of the worst. And it's because they're selecting them to run. So who are you loyal to if the party is picking you to be the next person running for office? You're loyal to the party and whomever the party's loyal to. So I say Americans need to start looking into their communities and recognizing good people, loyal people, and asking them to run. Fuck who the Democrats, Republicans, Independents are putting in office. No, we want our people to run against your people. And our people should be focused on the people. So if we have to start a think tank, if we have to start, educating people on real history and getting them in the sense of, if this is where you want to go as Americans in each community, start electing those individuals. Because this breeding these hateful people and then putting them in position and they stop listening to us once they get, no. As American, I'm tired of it. I'm done with it. I'm looking for people who give a damn about the people. And they literally are in office trying to help the people. It's a we thing, not a me thing. Point blank, period. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's all I got for y'all today. I want to thank all my members who came in. We will be having this. I'm getting it. I'll hit you guys up with a video for the members. I'm thinking about doing it this Saturday at 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time to have the Zoom meeting where we kind of all connect, talk to each other, and I'll give you some insight to what I'm really working on for us as American citizens who are ready to take back this country, or at least take it for the first time for all I know, because I don't know what's been going on in government. But It's about time we take the power back away from billionaires, and I have multiple solutions for us to do so. I'll be sharing, I think, the most powerful one on Saturday at 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So I am going to send out the link. I'll make a video and send out the link to my members only. I'll load it up on YouTube and send it to members only. So look out for that. I don't know exactly if it's going to be today or tomorrow, but it will be before Saturday. And yeah, we'll work on that from there. So thank you for being a member. Thank you on vacation for being a member. Appreciate it. Rude Independent Janet, thank you. Thank you for being here. Who else is up in here? Kristen Thompson, appreciate you. The Thomas Hughes, thanks for becoming a member. Who else? Monica Meadows, thank you for being here. Appreciate you. What is that? I think that's everybody. I'm gonna keep going until I get everybody. I don't want to leave anybody out. Demetrius, thank you. I appreciate you for coming tonight. And I'm keeping going with it until I get to the top. It's a lot. You guys were chatting today. I think that's it. I thank you for the donation, Demetrius. I appreciate you. And I think that is it. Oh, Diane, thank you. I see she came here and said hi, Chuck. All right, thank you guys for being here today. As always, I appreciate y'all. And then until next time, I'll see you when I see you.